Hey there, fellow readers. So, you want to start a book blog? At least that's what I'm going to entitle this kind of how-to guided video today. I want to take you through kind of step by step, at least this is the way I would, and I have started my own similar to a book blog, but these are the steps that I would encourage you to take if you are thinking about starting, or if you've already started and you kind of want to grow your own book blog. They're simple things, but sometimes it can be kind of complicated. So I want to say straight up, right in the front of this whole thing, that if you really do want to start a book blog, know that it is going to take a lot of work. It's not going to be just like typity type done, you know? There's more to it than just the writing aspect. If you really want to have, I want to say, a successful book blog, like a blog that you can really be proud of and that actually reaches other readers, because that is kind of the main point of blogging, is that other people can come and read what you've written and connect with you, right? So as we go along in this video today, just so you're not staring at my face for 20 minutes or so, I will show you some like screen grabs of my own website and blog. If you didn't already know, I am Carrie Lynn M. I am an author and artist, completely independent. And I do run my own website and my own blog, and I have for almost 10 years now. Like, can you believe it? So I do know a thing or two, and I kind of know what I'm talking about when I share all these tips with you. These are things that I have done over time and things that I would really recommend to beginners who are just looking to get started with building your own Bookish website and blog and everything. So I'm probably going to be saying a lot of trust me throughout this video today. So here we go. So we have 3 larger, in the big picture, in the big scheme of things, steps. And then below that, we're going to have micro steps. So our first section of steps is going to be just setting up your blog. So step 1 within this whole realm here of this first section is you need to go with or choose a website host / provider / builder, okay? And if this is completely new for you, if you've never made a website before, it's actually really easy nowadays. It's like easier than ever. You don't have to do all the down to the wire coding like you would have had to do in the 90s or anything. A lot of very good website builders give you templates that you can work off of, which is going to be in our future step here. But for first thing, you're going to want to pick a website host / provider. And it really helps for beginner bloggers to pick one that's going to have everything all in one. So you don't need to shop around and find some place where you buy your domain name from and another place where you get your templates and your website, your building blocks from. Which again, if you've never made a website before, this can sound like a lot of jargon to you. So my top 3, at least that I've kind of researched and come up with, there's like a million of these out there. But the top 3 that I really would recommend are WordPress, Wix, and Weebly. And of those 3, I can't recommend WordPress enough. WordPress, it's what I use. It has everything already encompassed within it, and I really do believe is the easiest thing for beginners to use. But I'm not endorsed or anything, so you can definitely go out and pick another option as needed. You can kind of shop around online, look at you know, website builder blogs. There's a lot of people that will compare and contrast all the benefits, all the advantages and maybe disadvantages of each of these host providers. But for the sake of this video, because I personally use WordPress for all my website and blogging needs, I'm going to be showing you kind of behind the scenes of my website in the WordPress builder. So if you do go with WordPress, you'll kind of know what to expect based on what I'm going to show you here. Now, step 2, once you've gone with a host provider, you need to come up with a really unique website / blog name. Because you're going to have to have, you're going to have this anyway, something that's like www.mywebsite.com or myblog.com, you know? You're going to have to fill in that part between the www and the .com. And on top of that, you actually don't anymore have to just pick .com. There are other end tags that you can use, including, there's like .org, .net, but for blogs specifically, I think .com is probably obviously the most used, but there's also .blog now, which I think is really nice as well if you're doing a blog. You can even, like, some domain providers will get you really creative names. You can be like .cat, you can be like .dog, like it can be anything you want basically. But to keep things, I think the most simple for, you know, your viewers and your readership, I think .com or .blog are kind of the two that are, you know, the most easiest. Sometimes, you guys, it's going with the more basic things. A lot of times when you're making a website and making a blog, simple is always better. So if you're always stuck on deciding something, I recommend going with the simpler option. And also, this is the part where you get to start kind of building your brand, okay? As a blogger, you're going to want to have a brand because let's face it, there's like 1.5 million blogs out there. And a very good portion of those blogs are book blogs, just like you want to do. So you need to come up with a way that's going to set you apart from the crowd, that's really going to make you and you unique to your readers. And also it's another way for if you want to do like cross-posting, again, we'll talk about this later on, against cross social media and stuff. It's nice to have a brand, like a way to brand yourself so that people recognize you when they see you on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. Like they know that's you, they know your face, they know your name, the name of your blog. So to come up with a really unique like branding name, just think of like what is going to set your blog apart from everybody else, or almost everybody else. Maybe you're going to be a blog with cats. Maybe you have a cat, a feline friend that you want to take a lot of pictures with and incorporate those in your blog. So you might say that your blog name is like bookbloggingwithcats.com, you know, just as an example, something like that. Now, once you've kind of come up with your brand, you need to start designing your actual website. And this is where I say blogging is more than just writing. Trust me on this. I learned this way in the beginning. In order to create a really good blog, you have to create a really good website too. Because ultimately your website is where your blog is going to be hosted from. So you need to make it, again, stand apart from the others, right? Stand apart from the other blogs. You need to make it really visually appealing because inherently the internet is very visual. Let's face it, when we're looking at a screen, that's what we're doing. We're looking with our eyes at a screen. So you need to make that screen that your readers can see very visually appealing to them. And also something that does fit in within your brand, whatever your brand is going to be. For example, if you are going to do the, bloggingwithcats.com, right, then you're probably going to want to fit like maybe bright colors, or if your cat, I don't know, maybe if your cat is like a black and white cat, maybe the colors of your website are black and white to match the fur of your cat. I don't know, something like that, right? Color really, really matters a lot when you're building a website. Fonts are another one if you're really into fonts. Fonts don't matter quite as much, but they're still really important. So for example, if you're someone who wants to do like reviews about sci-fi books are usually kind of dark on the cover, right? They're very spacey, space age, right? So maybe try to make your website look like space agey, right? So that when people come to your website and they see all these reviews about science fiction with like a darker background and stuff, they'll be like, oh, makes sense. This feels like it's supposed to fit here. Whereas, assuming that the books you blog about have nothing to do with like baking or something, it wouldn't make sense for you to have like pictures of cakes like all over the background of your website, right? Like that just wouldn't make sense together. Unless again, that was somehow incorporated into your brand. Like maybe you're someone who bakes while you do reviews, something like that. But in general, make sure that your website design really fits with your brand. And again, templates are going to save you so much in this. I myself use templates all the time when I'm building websites, especially my main author and artist website. But I take this template and then I love how I can change the colors and I can change the fonts that go across my whole website so it all looks put together and it all looks like it's part of my brand. And here's an added tip, you guys. If you're like not sure where to take things with like color and fonts and just the overall setup of your website, take a look at the cover of one of your favorite books. Or a book that you would definitely want to post about first on your blog, right? If you're like a romance reader and you want to have a romance blog, take a look at a romance cover, right? And kind of base your website design, try to make it look very similar to that romance cover. Maybe there's like red and pink on the cover of the book, so you incorporate red and pink into your website design. Maybe the font that's on the book is like script, like, you know, cursive handwritten script, so you kind of incorporate that type of font into your website as well. For example, in my own website, I actually based, since I am an author, I actually based my own website design on one of my very first book covers, which had a purple background and very simple, I almost want to say understated font, but just a very simple sans serif, if you're really into fonts like I am, that type of font, and a lot of space in between. So that's the way I kind of like to design my own website, to kind of match that cover. Now, step 4, the next thing you're going to want to do is start making some website pages for your actual website, because you need to have landing pages that people can click on and go to, other than just your whole blog role, right? So for example, you're probably going to want to have a home page, right? Every website needs a page to call home, literally to call home your home page. Some other things you might want to have is like an about page, where you just, you know, write a little blurb about yourself, maybe have a picture if you're comfortable with that. Some other pages you might have is just like a page just for your blog, like a reel of all the blog posts that you post over time that's always constantly updating for you. And I do like that WordPress makes this really easy to do. You can even in WordPress, most of the time you can set your home page as just a blog reel, so that you don't even have to create a separate home page if you don't want to. It's also nice if you want to have like a contact page, if you want, you know, your readers to be able to reach out to you and they could say, hey, I'm an author, would you mind reviewing my book? Or here's a free copy if you want it of my book, eh? And then since this is for book blogging, you could also have some bookish specific pages. Maybe you have a page dedicated to like all your bookish social media channels. You could have something like that. You could have like a page just dedicated to all the books you're reading right now, which you update pretty often, or all the books you want to read, all your TBR list of the year. Really get creative with this, you guys. And then with every page, make sure you do link it somewhere on your website so that people can actually access it. Most easily would be at the top of every one of your pages, which again will be part of your template, whatever template you choose, and you can edit that in your website editor so that those pages can be easily accessed from anywhere on your website and readers can see and read them pretty easily. All right, now, my dear friends, we have made it to the second section of this whole guide, which is the fun part, or at least I like to think so, which is to start blogging. You're like, finally, right? So step number 5 is, of course, to make your very first blog post. This is the most exciting moment, I think, for every blogger ever. Is just to write and create and just feel what it feels like to be a blogger with your very first post. And I always like to say, for your very first post, don't have like any expectations in mind. Like, it is best to just get in there, just let your fingers do the work, just type away and just see whatever happens with your first blog post. Just get it all out there. Just feel what it feels like to physically write and publish your first post. Don't worry about how many people are going to read this or not. Just write what you want to write and just post it. It's that simple. Now, if you're kind of stuck up with what you might want to write about in your first post, you could just kind of introduce yourself as a reader to other readers of the world and maybe talk about what you envision for your blog. Where do you think your blog is going to go? What do you think it's going to be about? What are you going to write about, I guess? And where do you think it'll take you within the next few months or the next year or so, okay? Just feel free to write whatever you want with it. Trust me, it's gonna be okay. Don't put too much pressure on yourself with your first post. Just have fun with it. Just go for it. Now, step 6 is to write some more blog posts. Really, that's the best way to put it. Just keep writing blog posts. You can make like a schedule for yourself of like, I want to write and post every Monday of the week or something, but you don't have to. Okay, when you're doing a blog, you get a lot of freedom with how often you post. As with anything, right, when you're doing like social media and stuff, more is always is always going to be better. But don't pressure yourself to post like every single day. Yeah, you don't need to do that with the blog. That's a lot of writing. So along with writing more blog posts, this is where the idea of content creation comes in, which I'm sure you guys have all heard about, like content creators. As a blogger, you are actually essentially a content creator if you want to think about it that way. If not, just ignore that title and just call yourself a blogger. Because content creators, sometimes that comes with a lot of pressure of like, I need to make content all the time. You know, we don't need to be a content mill for our readers, right? A blogger, you get a lot. That's why I love blogging. You get a lot of leeway, okay? You don't have to post that often, and the search engines are still going to pick you up, right? Google's still going to show you up in search results at some point in time. But since blogging is essentially like written content for people to read, you are going to need to get kind of creative and come up with different ways. I mean, this is why it's the fun part, I think. Think of it as the fun part, not as the stressful, like, I need to come up with a lot of different content ideas. Think of it as like, I get to come up with all these different things that I want to write about for my readers, right? Again, trust me, it's gonna be fun, okay? But as you start writing and posting all your blog posts and everything, it's also a good idea to categorize your posts. And as you make blog categories and tags, I mean, it organizes things so that it's easier for your readers to find them. It's kind of like putting things neatly into like little folders, right? Little virtual folders. Like, for example, one category might be your TBR lists. One category might be your weekly update. You know, a lot of people like to do weekly, this is how much I've read this week, this is how much I want to do next week, right? You can make those kind of posts every week and put that into a neat little category. You could have a category for like bookstore hauls or library hauls, right? You want to share, I got all these books today. You know, if you want to do that, probably not every week, but every few months or something, that could be a category. Maybe another category is like announcements for like upcoming book releases that you're really excited about. Your categories, I mean, get creative with this, you guys. It could be anything, right? Just come up with a couple of different categories, and those categories are going to inevitably spark more ideas for you of like, oh, I could write about, oh, well, this book is coming out soon. I could make a post all about that. Well, this book, I really, really want to add to my TBR list, so I could write all about this book, you know? And then also the more you write and post and make blog posts, the more ideas are going to come to you. The more writing you do, at least this is how I've experienced it, the more writing you do, the more you're going to come up with, right? You'll come up with more categories over time. Maybe you start out not even thinking about doing book reviews. I think that's kind of a basic for a lot of book blogs, but maybe you didn't even think about that at first when you started. You thought, nah, I don't want to do book reviews. I just want to write about what I'm reading and what I want to read and all this. But then maybe over time you're like, hey, I could do a book review about this book because it was really good and I really want to talk about it, right? Or maybe one of your categories that you've created is your weekly reading updates, right? And then maybe over time you're like, you know what? I could also do monthly reading updates on top of that. So then that's another category, and that's even more posts that you could create, you know? So it's kind of like, it's like a snowball cycle that like the more you get the ball rolling, the more ideas and stuff that's going to pack on top of it, and it's going to grow your blog over time because you're going to get more and more posts, you're going to write more, you're going to create more categories, more tags, and it's just going to grow your blog like that, right? Until it gets pretty big and pretty exciting for you. Step 7, and this is, I want to say straight up front, this is completely optional. You do not have to do this if you do not want to, but you can share your blog and your blog post on social media if you want to get more readers, okay? Which, yes, we're going to talk about a couple of different ways to grow your blog and to get more readers if you would like to in the next section. But for now, let's just go over, you know, posting to social media. And one thing I really do like about WordPress, and I'm sure they might have this on other website builders as well, but there are options in WordPress to automatically share your blog post to your social media channels as soon as it's published. So that just takes another thing off of your plate that you don't have to worry about if you don't want to. Now with some sites, like say TikTok or something, where you might want to post a video about your blog, that puts a little bit of extra work on you because you'll actually need to like record a whole video and give, you know, potential readers a tour of your blog and say, hey, head to this website.com to come and check out my blog. So I know it can be kind of daunting to come up with social media posts and everything, but this is why I also want you guys to check out, hint, hint, my totally free ebook guide to all things Bookstagram and Book Talk and all bookish social media in general. I will link that video above and below so that you can go ahead and check that out. It does come with a totally free, complete ebook, no strings attached, you guys. It's just a way, again, for me to help you guys out a little bit because I know how it goes in the beginning. That it can be very, very tricky and very difficult and very daunting with social media. But go ahead and check that out if you are interested in doing more social media for your blog. Otherwise, we are going to move on to our third and final section of this whole video, which is all about growing, evolving your blog over time, and ultimately about getting more readers, okay? But first things first, if you are someone who just wants to blog, I want to say mainly for yourself, for your own benefit, which blogging for everybody, it's going to benefit us, right? Because we want to do it and it's something that's going to give us personal satisfaction no matter what. But if you are someone who, like, you think about a lot of people reading your blog and it gives you like major anxiety, but not in the good way, more in like the really scary, like, I don't want that kind of way. If you're someone that you're like, maybe you'd rather like stay anonymous in your blog and you don't really want that many eyes on it, it's more of like journaling entries for yourself to just put out there, and whoever comes across it and reads it, then that's fine with you. And that is totally okay. I want you to know that if you want to be just blogging for yourself, mainly for yourself like that, that is totally okay. You don't need to worry about anything at all in this section. Now, on the other hand, if you are someone who you are like, I want more readers, you're like, I want people to read my blog, even if it makes you kind of anxious, but like in the good way, right? It makes you a little bit excited about thinking about all these people that you might connect with and who might read your blog, then yes, then this section might be for you, because I'm gonna share just a couple of tidbits with you about how to actually grow your readership. And the first thing is to get readers, write for readers. Okay, I'll say that again. To get readers, write, and in all caps and all bold and everything, for readers. This is something that I have learned over time. Again, like I said, trust me on this, I've been doing this for almost 10 years. When I first started my blog, I was mainly writing for myself, which was totally fine at the time. That's what I needed at the time. But then after a while, I started to feel like I wasn't connecting that much with my readers, because a lot of the times I was talking about myself and for myself, right? Like journal entries online, like diary entries almost online. Just these random stories about myself that I wanted to share that maybe people weren't all that interested in, or they couldn't connect with that well. So as a book blogger, if you want to get more people to actually read your blog, you need to write for and to and at your readers. You need to keep your readers in the forefront of your mind as you're actually writing. And this can be actually really simple changes that you make in your blog, you guys. For example, instead of writing something like 10 reasons why I love this book, 10 reasons why I love this book, instead of writing something like that, alternatively, you could just make the headline 10 reasons why you will love this book, why you will, at your readers. You see what I mean? It's a very simple shift, but think of yourself as an actual reader, as a blog reader yourself. If you are like looking up on Google about this certain book and you come across two different blog titles, all right, two different blog posts come up on Google. One is from a website and the title says 10 reasons why I loved this book. And the other title says 10 reasons why you will love this book. Between those two, which are you, as a reader, more likely to go with? Ding, ding, ding. I bet majority of you are going to want to read the blog post that's talking to you, that's directing itself at you, at your attention, because it grabs your attention and grabs you in, right? It's talking to you. The content of that blog post might be exactly the same as the other one, but instead of saying, I love this book because blah, 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 I, instead of saying that, the blog post might have switched out those I's with, you will love it because of this. You will like it because of this, right? So it really engages you more as a reader and pulls you in. That is like ding ding ding, the number one tip I have for anybody who wants to get more readers in your book blog, because it's so simple, it's such an easy mindset shift. But once I started doing that with my own website, you know, and with my own author blog, I found that I got infinitely more readers over time. And like now I have like 10,000% more readers than I had in the beginning. And I think mainly it is to do, I mean, I've done other things, experimented with other things, but I think the main reason is from that simple mindset shift of writing about myself and for myself to changing it to be more about my readers. Because ultimately, as bloggers, we want to connect with our readers. And the best way to do that is to actually talk to your readers, right? Now, my last tip, and this can be a little bit vague, but you should always be updating and always be evolving with your blog and with your website. Don't be afraid to change things, all right? If I would have kept my blog and my website design and the things I was talking about on my blog the same from the very beginning, I would be where I was at the very beginning, right? With almost no readers at all. So it's very important to give yourself the space to evolve and update and change your website and your blog over time. And there's really no step-by-step way to even do this step in this general step, right? A lot of it is, when I think of ways I've changed my website and my blog, is I've just experimented with different things over time. I've experimented with, well, what if I did this color on my blog instead? Or what if I started writing about this topic a little bit more? Or what if I started writing, you know, more blog posts in this category about, maybe it's like your TBR list or something, because readers seem to really like that category. So what if I expanded it and added some more blog posts about that in there? So a lot of it is kind of, over time, you will figure out what your readers like and maybe what they don't like as much on your website and your blog. You'll figure out which blog posts they read the most. And from there, take those blog posts and come up with more ideas based on those. Always expand, always be evolving and changing. So that is all I have for you guys today. All the tips I have to share, at least at the moment. I feel like I might come up with more later, but for now, I want to wish you all good luck. And remember to always, always have fun when you're blogging. Like, number one tip above all, above all else, make sure that you're always having fun with your blogging, because if you're not happy and if you're not enjoying yourself as you're blogging, you're going to tank and go downhill, right? It's just not going to take off. It's not going to go anywhere. You need to be the one that enjoys it first so that then your readers can actually enjoy it too. So get started blogging, keep blogging, and I wish you all the best of luck on your blogging journey, my fellow readers.